Have you ever thought of the possibility that you are living in a movie? That your whole life is an extremely long movie and is watched by an audience somewhere? This might sound like a crazy idea, but it makes sense if you think about it for longer, especially if you don't take it as literal truth, but as a concept for the nature of reality. So for me, it started with a personal experience 10 years ago. It was one fine summer day in Los Angeles, and I was walking to the gym like every other day. And as I was walking, something very strange happened. There was a shift in perception, and the whole world, including me, seemed to be unfolding in a strangely automated fashion. All my actions seemed to happen without my input, as if I was remote controlled. I felt disconnected and was able to watch myself like from the outside. I could see myself walking up the stairs to the gym, performing all the actions automatically. The me that was witnessing the situation didn't have to be involved in the decision-making process from the other me to do any action. It seemed everything, not only me, the whole world, was controlled by a magical script that no one had control over. Okay, that state didn't last very long, but it left me confused and made me think hard about the nature of reality. There are several theories out there that state all our actions are pre-programmed by some outside force, right? One of the most recent ones is called simulation therapy. It gained popularity in the early 2000s through the writings of Nick Bostrom. According to this theory, the world we perceive and interact with is not the base reality, but rather a simulated construct designed by a highly advanced intelligence. It basically says that we are the inhabitants of a giant computer game programmed by aliens. Again, that sounds crazy, but is widely discussed because it seems to be similar to how the nature of reality really unfolds. The scary thing about all these deterministic theories is that they state that we don't have any say in how our life will develop. They state we don't have any free will. And that's a terrifying idea. Everyone is trying hard to have a better life, right? We work long hours to improve our material wealth. We read self-help books to improve our quality of our lives. We engage in spiritual practices. We try to hack our brains. And we try to improve and change our habits. Well, maybe not all of us, but if you're watching this, I think you belong to this group. But doesn't it sometimes seem that nothing is really changing and we always end up in the same situation? That no effort brings any satisfying change? In these frustrating situations, you might throw in the towel and say, why am I even trying? Another theory is that life is unfolding similar to the projection of a movie. Vadim Zeland, a former Russian scientist turned esoteric teacher, is describing this theory in his book Tufti the Priestess, the follow-up to his book Transurfing Reality. His theories are very popular in Russia, but only known to a few in the West. And the reason might be that the translation is actually pretty bad. And, well, it's also pretty esoteric. But if you're open-minded and accept his theories, I think it's not uninteresting. The idea that we are living in a movie and are controlled by a script makes a lot of sense if you don't take them too literally. For me personally, it seemed relatable through the instance I described before and other experiences during my daily meditation practice. And I think this idea is an idea of hope. Let me explain you why. It says that we are not completely powerless when it comes to our future and fulfilling our desires. The trick in his theories is not to fight against the narrative within the film, within the script, but to transfer yourself into a different film altogether. Okay, sounds kind of crazy again. But it means that the film you're in is already determined and you don't have free will. But you can change the film as a whole. Okay, hold your horses. I know we're not in a film. But this idea can help us approach change in our lives in a different way. Instead of fighting everything around us, we just attract a better version of reality through mental work. Zealand himself suggests very specific methods, and feel free to check out his book. But in principle, these ideas are not new, and you could put them into action right now. The methods are known and available if you look for them. Let me give you some examples. Visualization. Very common practice. You just visualize a life where everything is more harmonious, more loving, more beautiful. And then you attract that life. And then visualize yourself in it, like experiencing it as if it was real. It's actually a very common practice, and a lot of people are promoting it. So you should do that daily. Don't change the world, just have one version of the world you like, and then relive it in your visualization. Then also another practice is mantra meditations. For example, find a mantra like Om and meditate daily. So you basically can transcend your mind, and your mind is the part of you that's attached to the script, to the movie. So if you transcend it daily, you will free yourself and might be able to attract another version of reality. And then of course there are the psychedelics that put you in an altogether different version of reality for a limited amount of time, which will give you a whole new perspective on your current reality, and maybe see that you don't have to live in this reality that you create for yourself. So the most important thing with this, it's illegal, and if you want to do it, you have to go to a country where it's legal. And then the most important from my research is that you have to find a facilitator that's very safe, because it can be very dangerous. Or if you have to check your mental condition, you have to see if you're healthy enough. And I'm just throwing this out there because it is known to change your life. So to put it all together, and looking at my own life, I think my whole life I felt like I was in a prison of my own making. My mistake was that I was taking the reality I was in as the only possible option. But that's just not the right way to look at it. This is a construct made by our own minds. There are many options for a life to live and a reality to live in. So we can make up our own reality. We just have to be consistent and don't fall into old patterns. We can free ourselves from the shackles created by our own minds. In a way, it is true. We are living in a movie. But you're free to change it if you have the willingness to do the work.